Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are at the Lobby Theatre enjoying Encounters 24th edition.
Excited to be here in Cape Town, opening the Encounters. Going to cinema was just like a normal thing that we took for granted. And once it was taken away from us, now we're like, oh my goodness, we're realizing the importance of it.
We were delighted to be at Encounters.
We managed to get a packed full house, which is really amazing.
I think it's fascinating because it's a story that hasn't been told.
Being the world's first openly queer imam is like Miss World. But that's the gay side of me that says that.
I think it started out very much as my personal journey, just me trying to find myself in terms of being queer and Muslim. Little did I know that my story was going to have such a huge impact.
For people who are Muslim, who have maybe only heard a certain conservative interpretation of the Quran, this might be very eye-opening. And then for people from outside of Islam, people like me who heard the story and immediately thought, a gay imam, is that even possible? Like how is that a thing? The fact that I needed to know that means that I think audiences also are interested in knowing that.
She was the first African who had a statue elsewhere in London. Nelson Mandela actually came second. We hardly know the story, but besides that, it's also contextualizing the African tradition, religion, versus the Christianity that come.
This little girl from a little village was picked as a martyr. She kind of represents a symbol for me that actually our culture is as good as the ones coming in, and she wanted to engage with both of them.
It's an important story to see where we've come from and what has happened. We don't necessarily have all the answers in the film, but I think it was an exploration through Letebele and her journey.
My parents have been at the center of a liberation struggle. That means they've never simply belonged to me. They never simply belonged to each other. They belong also to the country.
There's another image of a black man that we can show. He still became the legend that he is today, against all those odds. And we never share those. How do we then expect young black boys to find inspiration when you don't show these stories?
To respect music, you respect your life.
You cannot have the global human rights conversation without an African footprint.
I have a love for history and research. It was frustrating in the sense that you're only getting one side of the story because there's only a certain side that's documented, and that's from the colonial side.
As a heterosexual white man, why this story?
Because we don't need more heterosexual white man stories. All I can do really is say, let me take whatever skills I might have, whatever platforms I might have access to, and create works of allyship, create pieces of work that are going to highlight the stories that need to be brought out that haven't in the past.
The perception is that the documentary is about a queer imam, but it's actually about authenticity and living your life to the truest possible authentic expression of who you are.
I've actually realized that my story is actually bigger than myself. It's actually something that could inspire other people that are in similar situations.
Our story is to tell people there is hope, there is love, there is joy, there is peace. And in this documentary, it will show them.
People have their own version of the story. Even if I don't believe in elements of it, that is irrelevant. They have their authentic story and they are telling it in an authentic way, which is really important.